So we come back here to the Konica 7UP60. The power switch is on the top here, and if we press that little there, that should turn on. I just pressed it. I'll turn it off again. You can see that's coming in and out. And the problem was with this one was that when you open up the battery compartment, the contact inside the battery compartment there wasn't making contact properly, so I put some alfoil across the top of those two batteries there, and the extra pressure going down on this makes the contact. So there you go. So we turn it on again. It's working perfectly. A beautiful little camera. So that's the Konica 7UP60, and that's got a zoom. I better show you that the zoom's working. So the zoom goes in and out. There's the zoom. It's got other settings that you can set this camera on as well. Turn it off. There you go. Bob's your uncle with that one. The next little one here is the Tiara, the Fujifilm Tiara. It's a beautiful little camera. Fits in your pocket. It's about the size of a box of cigarettes. And here's the back of it. And to turn it on, you've got to slide this compartment across here. And sometimes it's a little bit sticky there. Oh, it's come out now. There you go. Goes back in. Pull it back out. Comes back out. So there you are, it's ready to go. And then we just got to see what happens here. Got a green light coming on. Just see if it's working here. There you go, the flash went off, it's working. And that's got it's got a panorama setting too, this one, and lots of other interesting settings. I'll see if I've got an instruction manual for this one here somewhere, I think. I'll see if I can find that and throw that in the mix. But you can download them off the internet, I think. So there you go. When you're putting this in this little case that comes with it, always make sure you put it with this cord going towards the back, because if you put it the other way, sometimes you can open up that little compartment and it'll flatten the battery. So that's what I do with that. Just put that back in there. It's a nice little Dick Smith, I think, camera case that came with it. I'll put that one over there. Let's have a look and see what else we've got here. This is a Minolta Riva Zoom, Riva Zoom 90 date, and that's a nice little camera. We've got an on-off switch up the top here, so we turn that on. Out comes the lens. Zoom works. There's the zoom. That works. You've got various settings. You've got a self timer and whatever, and a date back, and so you should be able to take a photo with this one too. Just bear with me while I just zoom this back out wide again. Wait a minute. Now it went off. You've got to make sure you got it in focus some of the time to do this, so it probably wasn't working because I didn't have it focused on something. So now we'll try it again. Now we'll see what happens now. There you go. So that's that one. Beautiful little camera. Autofocus does just about everything you want a point and shoot to do. And automatic rewind, the little rewind button you can press there. So we'll turn that one off. We'll turn that one off. That's that one. There's another similar one of those, which is this one here, which is the Minolta. This one here is the Minolta 70W Riva Zoom. 70W Riva Zoom. They've all got their little idiosyncrasies, these ones. This has got the on-off button here at the back. So we press that at the back. And there you go. This comes across. Flash pops up. And you've got all sorts of settings on that. Self-timer as well. Flash on and off, and different distance settings for focusing and whatever. So let's just have a look and see what happens with this. There you go. Flash went off, and I took 2 shots in a row. So we turn it back off again. So that one's working. So far so good. What else have we got? This is a Vivitar Zoom, this one. Vivitar 320Z power zoom, that's that one there. You've got a switch up the top here where you turn it on. So we turn on that, and then the window opened. I'll turn it off again. You can see that window shuts and opens. And this is a power zoom lens, 38 to 60 millimeter, and it's turned on now, so it's in a position to go. There's no film in these, of course. So let's just see what happens when I press this. There you go, and I can feel the motor moving on. So that one's working fine too. Zoom going in and out. Let's just test that. There's the zoom going in and out. Okay, we'll turn that one off. There, it's got a macro setting as well on this one. This one here is a Ricoh AF100 autofocus system, and whereabouts is the power button on this one? Oh, you've got to slide this across to turn it on here. So you slide this panel across, and then that turns it on. And we now got a little light flashing on the back here. Then the flash popped up. So we'll see what happens when I press the button. Nothing at the moment. Waiting for the flash to charge probably. Let's just have a look here. Doesn't want to do that, does it? Now it's working. A little bit finicky sometimes, these things. Flash is probably popping up so that when you've got it in a dark situation, the flash will pop up. So I'm not quite sure about why that's doing that. Let's have another look here. Some of these things are a little bit temperamental. You've got to work out how you get the most out of them. So we'll have another look at that one afterwards. So that's a little bit tricky in getting that to fire, but it does fire and it works fine once you've got it firing. So we'll just close that one up. This one here is the Nikon, there's a mosquito come to bother me, Nikon Zoom 300 AF. It's a beautiful little camera. You've got an on-off button up here on the left, so we turn that on. Out comes the zoom, out comes the lens. I'll do it again. There you go. You've got a zoom on this. There's the zoom, and we should be able to fire this. Let's have a look and see. There you go, that one's working fine too. Got various other settings on it. It's a nice little camera, that one. So we'll just turn it off again. Okay, that's that one. This next one here is a nice little Olympus Super Zoom 105G. And to turn this one on, you just slide this across like that. And out pops the zoom. You see out pops the lens. I just shut it again. Goes in, that turns it off. You never want to leave these things open like that because then the battery will drain. So there you go. So that's got a zoom on it. We'll have a look at the zoom going in and out. That works fine. We should be able to take a photo with this. Let's see what happens if we do this. There you go. That looks to be working fine. And they do wind. You've got to have a film in to get that winding on film sometimes with some of these. But that's a nice little camera, so that appears to be working fine. I haven't really shot a lot of films on that over the years. It's in pretty much almost as new condition, that one. And it's got a nice little pouch, soft pouch that comes with it. Once again, when you put this in, make sure you put it in that way, because if you put it in that way, sometimes it'll undo the cover and drain your batteries. So we just put that back in there. nice little Olympus bag. I've actually got a digital version of this camera with a grey little soft bag like that. This one here is a strange sort of a camera, but it's a good one. It's a Samsung AF Zoom 105. There you go, that's what it's called, that's what it looks like on the top. It's got some interesting things. You really need to have a good look at an instruction manual on this. The on-off switch is here on the back, on there. That's the on-off switch there. So I'll turn that on and see what happens. There you go. That turned on. You would have seen that open up. See that opening up there? So that's opening up. The zoom, let's see if the zoom's working. We'll open up again. There's the zoom's working. We've got it set on auto flash at the moment. Let's just see what happens when I press this. We'll turn the, there's some flash buttons up here, some settings here, so we've got to change the settings here with the flash to make this work properly, probably. So we've got the flash turned off, I think, now. So let's have a look. Take a photo here. It just worked when I came back at this distance. So there's lots of different settings. It's working. We'll see if we can turn the flash on. Quite sophisticated settings on this little flash button up here. Changes a few things. Let's have a look and see. That's not doing anything. Set, mode, fuzzy, portrait, step. We'll set it to fuzzy and see what happens. Nothing. Did have this working the other day. There you go, now it's working. Try that again. Got to wait for the batteries to charge up in the flash sometimes when you've got the flash turned on. There you go, it's working now. So you've got to really read your instruction manual on all these little buttons up here. There's all sorts of settings so you make sure you know what you're doing. But I'm pretty sure that's okay. I have put a film through this camera and it's worked fine in the past. I can't see why it wouldn't work now, but you've got to really understand how it works and work out. It's not a straightforward point and shoot. You've got settings up here you can set on the camera. So there you go, that's the Samsung. It's quite an interesting camera, AF Zoom 105S. You can look that up and Google it and see what other people are saying about it. Just turn that one off. Put that one, these mozzies are having a go at me, put that one on back there. And we can leave that out. Nice little leather or vinyl case comes with that one. This one here is the Hanamax 35 MAF. It's an autofocus fixed lens camera, and it's got a 38mm f3.8 lens. And to turn the camera on, there's a little switch up here. It says lock and run. So if we want to make it run, we turn it on there. So now it should be ready to go. So we just press the button and see what happens. There you are, flash fired as well. You can turn the flash on up here. See what happens again. You can hear the motor drive bringing through the winds the film on automatically. It's a nice little camera, and sorry, I'll come back in here. It is a nice little camera, so that one is working fine. I did have some doubts about that a while ago, but the only problem was that I had flat batteries in it. So once I put the new batteries in it, it was fine. So we've got we just put it on lock again now. You always remember to turn these things off because it'll drain the batteries. We come to the Olympus A1, I think it is, XA1. And this is quite an interesting little point and shoot street camera. To actually open the lens up, you go here, and that's what you do there. You've got a rewind button over here. You don't have a lever, you rewind each film on with that one. So if I want to take a shot now, I've got it's fixed focus, so you just take the shot. Wait a minute, what's going on there now? Hang on, didn't have it cocked. Now it just went. It was very silent. I don't know if you can hear that. Let's have a listen. So that just went. Got to wind it on each time or it won't take a shot. If you want to use the flash, there's a nice little flash here, but the flash is only activated. There's a little switch down here. You've got to turn that little switch on, and then you've got to wait for your flash to, I think the battery to charge up, the flash to charge up. There's a light on the top here now showing you that that's ready to go. So if we just pop that, if we just press that, there you go, that's working fine. It's a beautiful little camera. There are some good reviews of this one. I've got to turn this off again, so I turn this little thing off here for the flash, because if I don't, the battery will go flat. You've got a couple of settings here. You can change the ASA from 100 to 400. That's about the only control you've got over the camera in many ways, so you need to study up on this one. We'll just shut this up again. There's no batteries. The only batteries that are required are to run the flash, so the camera works perfectly without batteries. If you want it to be even more unobtrusive with your street photography, you just take this little flash, just comes off like that. So there you go. It's a beautiful little camera. It's about the same size as that little Fuji one, even if it's a bit smaller. So it's a good little street camera, and people do some interesting stuff with that. So there you go. That's the Olympus XA1. I'll just put this back on here. Put it back. And the last of these that I'm actually selling in this lot is the Konica. It's in a nice leather case. It's a beautiful leather case. This camera's had very little use in the past, and it's a beautiful little camera. It's a Konica C35 EF. EF doesn't mean it's autofocus. It's got electronic flash is what the EF stands for. So you have to wind the film on each time with the lever to take a photo, like that. If you want to turn the flash on, there's a little lever down here. Press that. Hang on, where do we go? That's off. Press that, then it pops up. And once again, you've got to wait for the light to come on in that. Let's have a look and see. I think you've got to wait for the light to come on. Now the light's on now, so the flash should go now. There you go. So that's a nice, and oh, just press that back down. You've got your rewind for your flash, for your film in there. You wind your film in there. So nice little camera, beautiful little leather case, and a bit reluctant to sell it. Reluctant to sell this, but I haven't used it much. But I've got so many cameras, I've got to sell some of them. So there you go. That's that nice little one. Now the other ones that we've got now, this one here I'm throwing in the mix because it does have a 40 battery compartment, although having seen what I did with the other one, let's have a look at this. Maybe it could do with a bit of alfoil just across there too. We'll just turn this off and see what I can do. Now this next camera here is the Kodak Star 835 autofocus. A little fantastic plastic camera, nice little compact camera. It's quite a simple operation. It wasn't working properly before unless you kept your finger on the pressure underneath on this battery compartment here. As long as you kept pressure on that, it was working. So like the Konica 7UP, I decided to play around with a bit of alfoil on the terminals in here, and and then it fixes it. Even though it's not a permanent fix, but you could probably work out some other way of doing a better fix than that. So to turn this one on, you just slide that off, and then you've got your lens exposed. Shut it, and there you go. and it's ready to go pretty much. There's a little green light comes on the back here. So you better remember to make sure that when you finish using the camera to shut that little window, otherwise the battery will drain. So now we've got the that all lined up there, and it should fire with a bit of luck. So let's see what happens. Look at that. And then you hear the rewind. Now I've just fixed that in the last 5 minutes. Gotta wait for the flash to fire up, of course. So that's a nice little camera. It's a fixed focus, no zooms, no nothing, and all automatic. It's got DX coding though, so it will read your film when you put it in there. So it's autofocus, auto wind, 35mm camera. Nice little camera. We'll just shut that now to make sure that we don't flatten the battery. Then this one here is an interesting little camera. It's got a beautiful leather case. It's actually got a metal finish, but it's got a plastic lens, I think. And this has hardly been used. It is a regular Picker C. Goodness knows who made them and where they came from. Probably from Germany or somewhere, I think. We're going to take this case off. Beautiful little leather case. It's very stiff because this has only probably had one roll of film through it, I think. It's 35mm camera. Nice little sort of aluminium type. I'm pretty sure that's metal, and it feels nice and solid and chunky. This looks like a light meter, but I don't think it is. So to shoot this camera, you just wind it on and press the button there, and there you go, it works. You've got various settings. You can guess your focus distance, and you can change your shutter speed and your aperture by using that line there. You can see that maybe moving around like that. So it's a little 35mm camera. I would put it in probably the low-mo category, but it might actually be better than that. I'm probably being a bit unkind about that. So let's have a look and see if we can open this up. Yeah, there we are. It's a bit slow doing that, wasn't I? It's all in how you hold your tongue. So there you go. There's the little insides. Check there. Fully functional as far as I know. Hasn't been used for a long time, and probably, as I said, only ever had. I've seen photos come out of it that work. Only ever had one roll of film, so that's a bargain at the price I'm giving that away for. And then the last but not least in this group is the Minolta Highmatic S. A friend of mine gave it to me years ago because he thought it wasn't working anymore. All it needed was some new batteries. Now the batteries are fine, but the trouble is when you wind this on, you can't fire the shutter, and I've also got the self-timer stuck in that position too. So this one is a giveaway. This is a free one, although it takes a really nice photo, and there are very good reviews about this camera. It's got a little pop-up flash, and but the problem is that little shutter button seems to be broken, and I've tried to loosen it up with a cable release, and it just sort of juggles it around a bit, and someone might be able to fix it if you can. It's a really nice little camera. So there you go, that's that one there. Here's the back. It's nice and clean inside. Once again, when I got this, it probably had little use. I put a couple of rolls of film through it years ago when I first got it, and they come out really well. So there you go. That's the cameras that are going to be shipped off to Sydney soon, and that's just a run through to make sure that my customer is aware that they're working before I send them off. I'll be bubble wrapping them today and taking them to post office to work out how much it's going to cost, and then I'll be in contact about the details of exchanging some money and posting them. So thanks for watching, and I hope you found that interesting.